And we are live.
Welcome to the dark side of the basement.
Literally.
We've changed the lighting, have we, Lloyd?
We have changed a few things this month.
Well, it is October, and we have to have a little bit of shall we say, the spirit. Hey, we're in the same colors.
Yes. So, what shall we talk to ourselves about?
It's actually hot in this Sith robe.
It's hot in this house in general this evening.
Well, that's what I was going to say. We're having, I guess, what's the phrase? Native American summer.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, no, we can't because we haven't had a frost yet, have we? We're having a hot spell.
We've had exactly one frost.
You have maybe. I don't think we have here.
I was going to say we did where I am.
But yes, I have to. Every now and then, I must put this on and remind everyone that. Oh, why are you laughing?
Because watching you struggle with your Sith robe is quite funny.
Beware the dark side. All right.
Hello, Chels. Hello, Diana. Oh, look, people are filing in.
People are definitely filing in. People will come, Ray.
Sorry, I did not dress up this evening. I am not feeling especially well. So, you got normal red this evening.
And you definitely have abnormal Fafnir.
No, that's definitely normal Fafnir.
But tonight I am Darth Fafnir.
He's Darth Fafnir, everyone. Yes, Liz, there are spots open if you would like.
Yes, absolutely there are spots open. Let me get my glasses on so I can see what the heck's going on. That's the one thing. Apparently doing the dark side of the Force is that you still, my eyes are still crap. Without my glasses anyway.
So you're telling me that they've spent all this time trying to figure out immortality, but they couldn't figure out like basic LASIK?
Something like that. I saw. When was the last time you actually saw? No, never mind. Not going to get into that silly nonsense.
I was going to say you could absolutely.
Where's your mouse, by the way? And what's with the settings on that thing?
Oh, I was in the middle of changing settings, and then I walked away.
So I got nothing on the other computer here.
One moment.
So, especially unless you want to be the one who actually reads all the comments, and because I can't.
Well, I mean,
I can't look over you anyway.
I usually am.
So, who would like a reading this evening? We have 10 slots available. There we are.
Yep.
Excellent.
So yes, Diana would like one. Liz would like one.
All right. You said Diana, Liz. Okay.
Yes, Rosella, we're getting comments from all of the places that we are streaming.
Rosella.
Yes, that would be.
So is that all we have so far?
I believe so.
Excellent. Well, welcome. Good evening, everyone, on the October Samhain / Halloween / pick your favorite fall holiday version of live with Lord Fafnir and Spawn. We are here to do psychic readings this evening. For those of you who have not been with us before, and for those of you who have, the rules are as follows. We are going to do 3-card tower readings.
We're going to do Songs of Old.
That's a whole different.
Fix it now. There you go.
I was going to say someone was.
Our sound guy never learns.
I had the volume on everything down. When I opened up the back room, it turned the volume up.
Interesting. Anyway, we still have a little bit of an echo going on in the background, but I'm going to continue all the same. We're going to do 3-card tower readings. When it is your turn, ask us a question, or actually, they put it in the comments anyway. If you don't have a specific question, that's okay. We can do a general reading as well. Let us know which tarot deck you'd like to be read from. As usual, we both have equipped ourselves with Dragon Tarot. Red also has her Swiss 11J deck that we also call the Dark Shadows deck. And I have, for those who want to have a love reading, I have the, quote, Tarot of Sexual Magic, the R-rated deck. It might have some, ooh, what do you say, nipples and butts, right?
Nipples and butts, yep.
Those two.
So yes, ask which deck you would like, which one of us you would like to have as be your point person for the reading. And last but not least is we want a number between 1 and 78 because that's going to tell us where in the deck we should start the reading. Because when we typically do readings live, as in like you're literally in front of us, we have you shuffle the deck. Being this is a live stream, we can't do that. We got to do all the shuffling ourselves. But we still want a little bit of your energy, which is why we ask for the number. Okay, did I miss anything, or did I get the whole?
Nope, I think that's about it.
Unexpected this is. Good. They understand. Good.
You're not working with me tonight, are you, on this?
Well, I don't really have a character to play off you with. It's not like I'm
No,
not,
I suppose not.
I'm not even from a different story or anything. I just Diana, it's literally your choice. We're not going to tell you who to choose. That is entirely on you. Don't make that our fault.
Exactly. So right now on our list for readings tonight, we have
Chels.
Diana, we have Liz, we have Rosella, Chels too.
Chels has asked.
Chels is on the list. So yes, this is our first one of the fall season. Sorry to those of you who were looking for a September session. Our September was really busy. So between the Sparta Renaissance Fair and we also had a night at Hammond Castle. And so we kind of like
I'm just all over the place driving hither and yon for many different health appointments.
Yes.
So.
And I was preparing for Salem last weekend, even though it was partially September. I started my weekends in Salem at Omen, doing readings there, as I will continue to do such for every weekend this month. Actually, it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And this weekend, being it's a holiday weekend, I will be there for the next 4 days.
And blink
Yay.
and you'll miss it. I'll be there for maybe 3-ish hours tomorrow.
Are you going to come in and say hi? No, of course, because you got your own little party going. Different part of town.
Well, also, let's be honest, it's not easy to get to you during the season. It's like I'm salmon trying to swim upstream.
Yeah, when the throngs of the crowds are there, it is definitely a pain in the neck.
So let us begin.
Okay.
And apparently Diana is just so excited about going first. So
Not a
Diana,
problem.
again, when we were explaining when you were typing, probably, we have a dragon deck, we have a tarot deck of sexual magic, and we have the Dark Shadows deck.
And so you may choose. Did she already basically ask a question, or is she?
I honestly am not entirely sure because she keeps sending one-word comments.
Let me see. Do you? Okay. Hope you received my question. Let's see if I can find the question.
I was gonna say
Oh, Haley. Haley I'll get Haley on. I just saw a comment from that person. Haley is now on the list. Okay. Do.
Yes, Diana, we know you're here. We're very aware of you.
Okay. If I do not see a question on here from Haley.
She basically wants to know about love life and money.
Okay. Is there a specific thing in there?
No, but you still need to pick a number between 1 and 78.
Bingo.
Diana.
Will I find, here we go. I'll put it up on the screen here. Will I find a live life. I assume it's love life.
Yep.
Will things work out for me? Okay. So I'm presuming that she would like to have the sex deck to do that particular.
66, she says, for her number.
Okay.
And she is, Diana, I don't know if you're having some tech issues or something.
We're getting
but
duplicative messages.
You are sending things over and over, and that is making things very difficult for us. There is a delay between when you send things and when we receive them. So if you could just be a little bit patient.
Calm down. Okay, so Liz will be going second. And so I look at she's already got her stuff in there. So all right, I will.
So she would like 66. I think she said she wanted the dragon deck. So
she wanted the dragon deck.
I listed them for her again, and she said first. So I think that was the dragon decks.
Okay. I will put the other deck away, and number still 66. We will get the dragon cards out, and we will see what we have here. So.
Oh, wait. Oh, hold on a second. All right. Stop.
Yes.
Diana, when I listed the decks for you before, you said you wanted the first one. Now you are saying you want the love one. Please make a final decision.
I'll prepare both decks.
Okay.
Okay, so if we are
Right.
going to be doing dragons, we're doing this. Let me prepare the other one just in case, and then we will just kind of go from there.
It's all right. It's all right for you to be nervous, Diana. Just need you to actually answer the question. Do you want dragon or do you want the love deck? Like, just. Okay, she wants the love one.
Almost there. All right. Now the deck is properly arranged. Let's put the cards out. And before, obviously, your computer is giving a little message as well, saying we're gonna lose the connection in 3 days if you don't. Yeah, but we can do that when the stream is over.
Yeah.
I wish I had said that before we got on, but no big deal because my computer did that. All right, flip over to the cards. Very good.
Sorry about the not super focused, but there is not a lot we can currently do about that. We need to get better cameras.
We're definitely going to have to be doing a little bit of upgrade. But we've had these cameras for over 3 years, so I can't really complain too much. All right, so we read cards upside down. We have the 6 of chalices right here for water, for emotion. We've got temperance, number 14, which also doubles as one of the zodiac signs. That is for Sagittarius. And we have the upside down card. I have to say this is Palpatine.
Death. It is reverse death.
So I turn it over because I want you to see the picture. This one also doubles as a sign, that being Scorpio. So perchance, Diana, are you either a Sagittarius or a Scorpio? Because you have a couple of water and a fire right in the middle. And they say fire and water don't mix. Well, it depends. Because after all, you say a heart wants to burn with passion. How does it do so without actually
No, she's a Leo.
some fire? She's a Leo. How about that? Most interesting. How about that? Now, she basically didn't have a specific love question. It was more, will things, quote, work out? Is essentially what she said here.
Yes.
What you have here is a picture of the lady pining for her lover because she's staring at a mirror, but what she's not seeing her reflection. What she is seeing instead is the fact of she's seeing the reflection of her and her lover together while she's in fact by herself. So it kind of reflects that, if you want to say that's where you are right now. You could say maybe, the anticipation when you're separate, when you get together, definitely are things to look forward to. But it's also the fact of
She says her husband just passed 10 months ago.
Because the heart is a bit confused in the fact of that's what number 6 is. 6 represents confusion. And the idea, of course, is if your husband passed 6 months ago, then maybe the fact is you're still pining for him to be there. The fact of you look at that mirror and you see the two of you. So in this case, rather than pining for things of the future, it's more of like, okay, remembering things of the past. The idea of temperance, not a sexual card at all. In fact, neither is the last one either. But this one just shows the lady getting very contemplative. Literally, all she's doing, she's pouring liquid from one container to another. And the idea is that temperance is for reevaluation. This is the whole contemplation of where do you want to go from this perspective? You've asked the question of will things work out? Well, yeah, they're going to work out. But the thing is, you have to kind of also make the decision of where do you want to go with this? Because after all, the change.
You are asking the wrong question and looking in such the wrong direction. Because
in a way,
one of the major things is, what do you mean? Are you going to find a love life? You had one, and not all love has to necessarily be romantic. Maybe now's the time to really just learn more about your platonic relationships, your platonic loves, your familial,
Well, that's part of it. But if she also is looking for a romantic love, you have basically the idea of contemplation, which is temperance, and death. Meaning by the way of death, by the way, is not referring to an actual physical demise. It's all about change. Upside down in this case, because essentially it's the change that you basically have to admit to and go with, even though you necessarily don't want it. I mean, as a general rule, we humans, we hate change. We love things to be relatively consistent.
And I'm also getting a bit more confused. I think she's trying to add context with her comments, but for me, they're not being particularly helpful in that regard, because your question was about finding a love life, but now you're saying you don't want a love life, you want a man friend. And I'm confused as to what you actually want.
Well, maybe that's the whole point of these two cards, kind of like essentially say that you basically need to get your own story straight.
Yeah.
After all, if you're confusing red here, are you sure yourself what you're looking for? And by the way, if you are, hey, no big deal. But the thing is, be very, very clear in what you wish. But the idea is that the change here, the death card, I mean, like I said, this does not refer to physical death, because let's face it, we're all going to die one day. Ergo, why have a tarot card which kind of just states the obvious? That's not the purpose of the death card. Upside down change, and the fact is maybe what you're looking for right now is ultimately is not what you're going to want to be or have in the future. To find what you really want to have as think about emotional happiness, get away from the emotional confusion that number 6 card here has, and turn into more emotional happiness, stability, calm, peace, whatever you want to refer it to. I believe it's going to require a change from the position that you are in right now.
Yeah, and it's also based on what you're writing here, Diana. It's not a change that you're actually going to enjoy making.
Yes, that's why the death card was upside down.
You need to actually understand what you want, which you don't right now. I'm also going to take a wild shot in the dark and say you have never had to get to know yourself. It doesn't feel like you know yourself at all, because you've been a part of a couple for most of your life, so you didn't have to worry about that. Here's the thing, dating has changed massively, and now people actually want to date people. That means you actually have to figure out who you are as a person to be able to offer that to somebody else.
People want to date people? Heavens to Murgatroyd. When did that start becoming in vogue?
My generation.
Well, actually, to tell you the truth, from my point of view, when did it go out of style? I was always dating people. I wasn't dating like pictures. As in, I never treated people like complete, like, physical sex objects.
No, but I'm talking caricatures. We present a public face, and that's usually the most people will see out of us. They don't actually see our personhood. They see the mask and the caricature that we present to them. That is largely what the dating world has been.
You can tell how long I've been out of it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look, a troll. Good Lord. Excuse me.
Tell the troll goodbye.
Actually, that was like a Southern Sith, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was terrible.
So, Diana, if you were in a 33-year mentally abusive relationship, why are you so gung-ho to get into another relationship? How about have a relationship with yourself first? Do you know anything about yourself? Do you know your own likes, your own dislikes? Do you know what you actually look for in a person? Yeah.
She's scared, it says.
And I understand that, but the things that I'm asking her are going to actually get her to a successful relationship if that's ultimately where she winds up.
Well,
if she just tries to dive back in blind, sorry, Diana, it's not going to work.
I was going to say that becomes the whole lather, rinse, repeat concept,
Mm-hmm.
which you definitely do not want to have. If you've never really, as an adult, spent any real appreciable time by yourself, I mean, better late than never. This will be the perfect time to do that, because essentially, you don't have to surround yourself. I mean, if you're really alone and lonely at the same time.
Ooh, Michelle actually I'm gonna throw that up there. Michelle has an excellent point. Entering any relationship because you're scared of being alone is not fair to a potential partner, and Michelle is spot on that front. I get that you get lonely, but you don't need someone. You're a whole person. You don't need anyone to complete you. You need to actually you're saying you don't know who you are. You don't know what you want. So date yourself, take yourself on dates, figure out your own likes and dislikes before you wind up jumping into another abusive relationship.
Yep. And the thing is, and the temperance card basically is saying that exact same thing. That's why this card literally only has the one female, and all she's doing is a mundane chore, but she's contemplating. She's, she's meditating. She's, doing the whole thought process, and it's just enjoying, perfecting her task, and also the fact of realizing that she can do it all by herself.
Mm-hmm.
And the things, and this sometimes takes time, and the one nice thing about this is that, you're not under any specific time clock.
Nope.
There's no,
time is on your side.
Yeah, time is on your side.
Rush.
Time is on my side. Yes, it is. Okay. So let us move on.
Indeed. And Liz posted hers up here just a little.
Yes, if you can find Liz comment question, we will do our best.
Liz says, number 15, Dragon, how am I meant to be a healer in life? General reading or reading for the last few months of 2023.
And she says Libra. So I presume that means she is a Libra.
I'm also presuming that as well, or maybe she just knows that we're in Libra right now. Maybe Liz is just really up to date on her astrology.
Well, if this is your birthday month, happy birthday. It is mine. I'm going to use your dragon deck on this one.
You go for it. Liz is...
Do we get anybody else who actually wanted to have a reading in the comments? Because we still have a few slots left.
Not that I have seen. But
so if anyone is out there who is not already on the list, because we still have Liz is getting her reading now. Then we have Rosella, Chelsea, and Haley. We have a few other slots left. So if you would like to get on the list, please chime in.
Let me know when you're ready.
Oh. Rosella, you don't have to say you're sorry. You're going next. You're right after we're done with Liz's reading.
Oh,
I see Elijah would like to have one.
Yep.
Okay, I will put Elijah on the list.
Shall I flip the camera?
Yes. Please
Flip.
flip.
Please flip.
Oh, Let me rearrange a smidge here. I also see Patricia and Nancy.
Yep.
And I think that's going to round off our list.
How are you meant to be a healer? Or reading for the end of 2023.
Okay, so we have here the upside down Leo card or the Strength card. We have the 7 of Cups and we have the 7 of Coins.
Boy, you do have,
wow.
You are being pulled in many directions on that front, aren't you?
Do you wish to start off with this one a little bit?
Well, it just seemed, in terms of the question, especially how am I meant to be a healer? Like, I'm assuming that Liz is asking more for like what specific direction should I focus in? And yeah, you have 2 cards going, I'm struggling to make this choice. But it's not for indecisiveness. It's more because there are so many options and you're just one of those types of people that just wants to be so helpful, which I can understand and appreciate. I also want to fix everything.
But how successful are you at that?
I'm not, and I never have been. So yes, I eventually realized what areas in which I am good at for helping. One of them is this. One of them is definitely this. The other is the disability advocating that I do online. You honestly, I think you're more of an advocate as well, just from a personal, because that's also how we met. So for less from a reading, more from a personal standpoint, I think you write very well. You have a really, really good sense of words and putting words together. You're able to articulate your experience in a way that a lot of people aren't. And we need people to articulate their experiences because it can't just be one person. It has to be a bunch of us going, we have collective experiences and things like that. But so from a personal standpoint, that's where I would recommend. But you do have the cups and the coins. So you have it from the emotional standpoint and from the earthly standpoint, which again, I think makes sense. You're a very supportive kind of person and are totally willing to try and help people's emotion. You're kind of like me in that you sort of take people by the hand and try to lead them through the experience of being disabled, at least the parts that we can help with. Would you like to chime in?
Well, I mean, I like the fact of it's other than the fact that the strength card was upside down, it also shows a nice little balance of elements. I'll grant you, from the pagan point of view, you cannot have earth, air, fire, water in 3 cards.
No, you can't.
But you did get 3 of the 4. You have fire, water, and earth. You've got the strong male balanced by the 2 aspects of the female energy. And the idea of this essentially is that the 7s, I know you've heard the phrase lucky number 7. 7's for the resolution more than it is anything else. 8 is more like a business number, and the fact of saying that you got some more organization to do, but you're kind of getting there. So numerology wise, it actually kind of makes sense. And you have here the whole point of the view of making the choice emotionally. What direction do you want to go? Because essentially, I think you already know where you want to go from the heart perspective. You just haven't necessarily, turned that into an actual physical earthbound point of view.
Hold on, which deck did you pull from?
This one.
Okay. Ooh.
You do a clarifier?
I did.
Or am I putting it on top of?
I put it on top of the center there.
Okay. So now we go from the 7 to the 3.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to see if I could get maybe a little more detail on where you're coming from a little bit. And are you a little bit down on yourself and what you actually think you can provide as a healer to others? Because, I know that I struggle with that, which is why I tend to take on way more than I actually should in terms of emotionally helping others.
You? Oh, no, not you.
I know, shocking. We're all so shocked.
I am shocked.
But yes.
But the idea is that also when you essentially from an earthbound point of view is that when you decide to actually make the leap, go for it. That's this one is the fact that if you can't hover over the bridge, you know, it's like going make a decision, or as my dad used to say, shit or get off the pot. But in this case, you want to go forward. But so the idea is that go home or what's that go? What?
I don't know. I'm not sure what you're.
God, I'm having a brain fart right
yes,
now.
you are.
Yeah, I can't think of it anymore. I was gonna say essentially it's like go forward or go home, but the thing is, it's like if you
go bigger,
go bigger, go home. There it is. There you go. Thank you. Thank you, Nancy.
Yeah. You don't have to pick right now. You're allowed to dabble in things until you actually find where you're comfortable. So you don't have to be like, oh my God, I have to make this decision. No.
No, you don't have to. Don't take too long, but
no, but if part of the decision making process for you is trying on a few different hats, then by all means try.
And remember,
try on a few different hats, drink from a few different goblets.
Exactly. Pick your poison, so to speak here. And remember the lyrics of the old song, I am strong, I am invincible, I am woman. Remember the old I am woman? I know you know that, kid.
Yes.
Yeah, that's now like 50 some years old now, that song. But still. But you are strong. And the thing is, it makes perfect sense. But yeah, definitely when you decide to actually go for it, go for it.
Yes. Healers come in all different shapes and sizes.
Absolutely.
I am a healer. You are a healer.
Everyone's a healer.
Sometimes.
Okay, we are up to Rosella.
So yes, Rosella, if you would like to tell us deck number between 1 and 78 and whether or not you have a question.
I know Patricia actually already put her whole thing in it, so when it comes time for Patricia, we'll have to scroll all the way back because she gave us everything. Alrighty. What does this say?
I would probably do Dark Shadows for that. Number 55.
Okay. You want to do Dark Shadows?
I think that one it's really good for career stuff. So you would like a time frame if possible. We will do our best. I will let you know that time frames and tarot are incredibly iffy. So heaping spoonfuls of salt.
Loose, I would say.
Loose, yes.
Yeah, if we get the time frame, like a certain zodiac sign shows up, or maybe a number along with that, it might give a clue.
But we rarely, if ever, go, oh yes, it's going to happen on this exact date.
Because after all, there's one magical thing that we can't control, and that's the free will of others. Come on and take a free ride. Come on and sit here by my side. All right, so let me reposition those so people can see them when you turn the camera over.
Very well, you may switch the camera view.
Wow, we're having like a theme.
Yes, aren't we? Now, so this time we actually have two upside down cards. We have the upside down 9 of Wands. We have the upside down Strength again, or as they say in French, La Force. May La Force be with you.
And also
with you. Yes, exactly. And then the last one, we have the Valet de Bâton. In other words, the Page of Wands. All 3 fire.
So it's
Rosella.
nice to know that you're passionate about what you're doing.
I was gonna
at
say,
least I'm hoping.
She is Katniss Everdeen, the girl on fire! Oh, all 3 fire cards. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no.
Does Leo mean anything to you, Rosella? Or
It's
for
a
that?
French man and a French company. That's funny. That's very funny. See, we know. We always know. Or
how about this one? This one's also Sagittarius. So once again, we've got the whole concept of Leo and Sagittarius energy showing up here. And again, from a time frame, and she says Leo means nothing. How does Sagittarius actually respond to that?
Also, is this a more male-dominated field?
Because after all, male energy, all that fire. I'll grant you, everyone's got male and female energy.
Was he impressed, though? I'm not seeing... Oh, modeling. Yo, hey, I also model. It's fun. Modeling is fun. I enjoy it. Was he impressed? I'm not seeing anything here to indicate that he wasn't. Especially when you throw the Leo card in there.
Well, female dominated, but then again, if we were equating the Leo card here, strength card, back to the fire suit, it would have been the queen.
Mm-hmm.
So, but again, nothing that says that females can't be strong. After all, let's face it, you're into modeling. My God.
Well, no, it's the whole question of, based off of these 3 cards, was the person in question impressed?
Mm-hmm.
I'm based on the strength there. It seems like it. Maybe you. How long have you been doing this? Is this something that you're fully comfortable doing, or are you still sort of cutting your teeth, so to speak?
Because the reason I would say yes, he was impressed, but maybe it's one of those things that where how people get first impressions. Since 2 of the cards are upside down, it still shows that strong fire energy, but it gives me the impression that maybe the first impression was not ultimately the last impression.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing, by the way.
As far as when and if we'll send contract.
Ooh, doesn't that interesting?
You're new, but it's something entirely different. Okay, so you might be sort of giving off of a little bit the newer vibes and things. It's about a world tour, new idea. Yep. So when will he give you the contract? Again, time frames are very wibbly wobbly in tarot. So
this is the 2 of Earth, by the way. The 2 of Coins. This was not upside down, which for this case I kind of like.
Mm-hmm.
Little more definitive. I mean, and of course you have a nice little S curve here, which is relatively symmetrical, except for the fact that the colors really aren't, and the fact that it's got stuff written, which is clearly not symmetrical either. And I'm not really up on my French, so I'm not quite sure if that's an advertisement. Do you know?
Yep, it's just the name of the toy.
That's the name of the company that actually makes the cards.
Yeah. I hate that on some of the cards they're just like, let's just plaster our name very obnoxiously.
But we'll do it in French, therefore it sounds very, it sounds just bourgeois.
Yes.
It's after bonjour croissant.
Hello toast.
Hello toast. Yes, exactly. The English translation doesn't work out very well, does it?
No.
Makes for a very good joke, though. I'll say that much.
It does.
So the time frame is a little bit iffy. I will definitely grant you that. But if I'm actually looking at the combination of this, just for the fact that we're in the month of Libra right now, 2 months from now is Sagittarius, which is one of the things that the Valet de Bâton refers to. And here we have the number 2. So if I'm actually going out on a limb, let's say, all right, it's doubling down to 2 months from now. So we're talking roughly, just before Christmas, when you're getting near the end of Sagittarius season. So you're talking about essentially middle of December, as I think when this person's going to hear.
I'm not going to disagree on that front.
I mean, that's my interpretation, putting a little combination of the zodiac symbol and the numerology perspective. That is what I'm going to go with.
Works for me.
All righty.
Chels.
Shall we move to Chels? I can feel your anger.
Come along, Chels.
Actually, Chels has been rather angry of late, so nothing.
With reason.
I was going to say with incredible amounts of reason. So it is your turn, Chels, to basically let's see what kind of soap opera. As I shuffle the cards here.
Yes, Jesse, I'm very glad that they've been speaking to you because every day Dad and I sit down and we put our heads together and think, what is Jesse going through today? Let's make sure that it speaks to him in its entirety. No, but I do love that it's speaking to you. A lot of us are kind of going through some similar stuff right about now. Chels would like 23, a reading about my self-growth. I feel like my steps are getting slower.
Everyone in the theater knew as time went by, they get a little bit older, a little bit slower.
You don't know what it is, but making you feel like your progress is slowing down. Where can you get a recharge?
Plug yourself into the wall. Pretend you're a cell phone.
Chels, you knew he was going to say that.
Or something like that.
That's why you wrote it. That's why you wrote it.
I mean,
right?
come on. I mean, it's just like, seriously? Did you honestly, Chels, since we've obviously clearly read you lots of times before, did you really think I was going to give you a completely serious thing right now, especially dressed like this?
You serious?
Chelsea's reading is easy. There's going to be a one-way trip to the Northeast in her near future.
What kind of junk is coming up on your computer here?
Oh. My driver fixer is like, I found more updated drivers. You should update your drivers. And I'm like, you're right, I should. And then I forget.
Oh, they said her place filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
They filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
File.
So I have to file. So you have to file for the amount of money that they owe you. As do it up. Get your money.
It's funny. A school going bankrupt.
Private Catholic schools.
If you're filing a suit, do it fast because
Yes, do it
first
quickly.
in, first out. When they run out of money, you're done. You don't get it.
Yep. Did you hear that? Do it quickly.
Get in before everybody else.
Do not wait, or you'll have an IOU that will be as worthless as the paper it's written on. All right, do the flip.
Do it.
All right, so we have the Four of Coins upside down. We have the Chariot upside down. This is becoming a theme, having the first two cards being upside down in these readings. And the King of Wands. And once again, we have another two zodiacs. Only this time we have Cancer and we have Aries, which as far as I remember from Michelle's sets has got nothing to do with her from a birth perspective. Oh, Troll. Oh, you already took care of that.
Got it. So yes, so we have the over here. Everything fucking sucks and I'm lost in the woods. Fucking help.
Yeah, basically, help me get the fuck out of here. We have the Chariot number 7 for resolution upside down, where basically is you're looking all in the wrong location. This is the search card, but what thing is, are you actually searching for the wrong thing, or are you just looking for everything in the wrong spot? Slow going? Yes. If you are looking for something and you're looking in the wrong spot, it's going to take you a lot farther to find it, isn't it? What was the rest of the question? She said her progress was slow.
Basically, yes. She doesn't know what is making her progress, what is slowing her progress.
Well, what is slowing the progress down is everything else around you.
The things that you cannot control.
Unfortunately, you can't control. It's like you've been like this card. It's like you were like literally dropped in the forest, or you woke up because someone put you in there. You had no idea how the hell you got there in the first place. You didn't really essentially create the problem, but you're unfortunately now you're kind of stuck dealing with the solution of it. You know, this thing is that, you know, I'm sorry, you know, you're searching for something, but the thing is you're only as good as the steeds that are actually driving your cart. If you've got a couple of little pissant things that are actually too weak to drive the chariot, it's not going to go as fast as you want it to be.
Hey, Chels. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. That your self-improvement, self-care, feeling like a better version of you, that's not an all-the-time thing. Okay? Like, here, let me be real honest with you. I feel terrible right now. But I am doing my best, and I know that I'm doing my best, even though the best that I am currently capable of is not the best I've ever done. But it's the best I've got right now.
And that's okay.
You're doing the best you have right now.
So essentially, as long as you don't deliberately try to overdo it, you know, that's it. It's not necessarily a bad thing to, you know, sometimes it is a little one step forward, two steps back, as much as we have to say that, because society says, you must always progress, never stop, never slow down. Sorry, you're not General Patton.
She's not.
No.
I'm shocked.
And by the way, Patton was not the best general in World War II anyway. He got a lot of his people killed because of his concept where he basically says, always be on the offensive, never dig in. That was actually one of his modus operandi, which, by the way, the Germans eventually figured out. They knew what he was going to do. Now, I'll grant you, at that point, they were kind of already toast, so he kind of ran roughshod over most of them anyway. But it's the whole point of view is that there are some times where you do need to, I don't want to use the phrase duck and cover, but I'll say it because after all, it applies. Every now and then you do need to kind of like slow down, take stock. No, you do not want to go backwards.
And also your self-care needs change with time. So, and it's one of those things where it's frustrating when goalposts move, but you kind of do have to be cognizant of your self-care needs are going to change. Because what your body needs, what you need mentally, what you need emotionally, that is literally going to be different every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're getting frustrated with yourself over things that are beyond your control.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you should honestly really just be doing, if you want to continue doing well with your self-care, self-improvement, listen to yourself non-judgmentally and then do what your body asks. Like, here's another weird thing I'll share for the class. Like, I've been having a lot of tummy troubles for the last 6-ish months or so. And so I've completely overhauled my diet. And one of the things that I'm eating so many Brussels sprouts. Like, at least 2 meals in a day at least. And when I run out of Brussels sprouts now, we go to the store immediately and we get more and we make them immediately because, hey, I've found something that my stomach likes and doesn't chuck back up, and that will actually go through my system. Was I eating this amount of Brussels sprouts when I started having these tummy troubles? No, but that is not what my body required at the time. So, be nice to yourself, bitch.
Do what must be done, Lord Vader.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, because remember, these were the 2 cards that were upside down. This was not. As much as you can get confused and frustrated long term, this is where the firepower comes in. You actually are moving in the right direction. It's just that you don't necessarily see it because essentially you don't see the forest through the trees.
Yes, that is very true. You are still unlearning a lot of the lessons that your parents and society taught you. You're still in the process of unlearning them. So your disappointment is coming through that lens that they gave you, and not actually the lens of reality. So on that front, you're actually fine. Stop being so mean to yourself about it.
Pretty much. All righty. We're going to move on. Take it away.
And now we are on to Haley.
Which, let me just.
I'm not sure Haley actually put her comments in the first
I
place.
thought she did.
I know Patricia did, and I saw Nancy did as well for later on.
But I thought that Haley did. So I'm gonna did.
Did.
Haley did.
Way back when?
Yep.
Okay.
Dark Shadows deck, general life advice, and what they should work on pertaining to being the highest version of themselves.
What's the number?
7.
Oh, lucky number 7.
And Elijah, you are up next. So prepare yourself.
Just quickly before we start, Haley. Yes, Chels, that is exactly correct. If your body has been craving sleep. Stop pointing at me. Excuse me, off cameraman. Stop pointing at me.
Sleep. Puppies will make them sleep.
I took a nap before coming here tonight. I did the sleeping thing, but yet, of course your needs are rest for growing. Did you know something, Chelsea? You're in your 30s now. Of course your needs for rest are growing. Be nice to yourself. I'll smack you.
Wait until you get to be my age. It takes a lot of energy to be me.
I feel like it always took a lot of energy to be you, and that age doesn't really have anything to do with that.
I don't know how to actually respond to that one.
So anyway, Haley would essentially like to know the same thing that Chelsea wanted to know. Best way to be the highest version of themselves. And Haley said they are a Taurus. Just like Chelsea also.
All right, so here we have another theme here. We have another fire card. This is the upside. No, I'm sorry, this is not upside. This is the right side up. Wow, they're all right side up for the first time.
Woo!
We have the number 4 of Wands. Then we have, in the French, we have the Wheel of Fortune, or la Roue de Fortune. And then we have the Chevalier de Bâton, another one of...
Did you just say Chevalier?
Chevalier. As in Kinnigat.
Yes, no, but I heard Chevalier, and then I heard Chevrolet. So...
Baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. So, we have Bâton, or Wands again. We have fire, and we have more fire.
So what is it with y'all Tauruses, since we just read one and now we're reading another one that asked relatively the same question? So what is it with y'all Tauruses trying to control things that you can't control and just letting the things that you can control absolutely go to pot?
Yeah, that's the thing about this one is even more so. How can you? What was her question? How can she be her best self?
Yeah, like what are the things that she can be doing, like self-care, self-improvement to reach her highest?
Okay, well, since I'm playing Palpatine tonight, I'll give you a Star Wars quote. Only comes from Yoda. Let go of everything you fear to lose.
Which is actually the worst advice that Yoda ever gave someone.
Well, okay, absolutely true, but there is a little bit of that in this, and the fact that you've got number 4, which kind of represents the ending of a phase, moving on. The Wheel of Fortune, which essentially in itself is like, okay, are you a gambling person? You know, spin the wheel and see what the heck happens. And then the Knight of Wands, again, another fire sign, that male energy, that strong wanting to move forward. But knights refer to change.
Yep, Mary, we can put you down.
I'm sorry, we have another person here?
Yep.
Mary?
Yes.
Gotcha. Got it.
But yeah, no, so something that you need to do in order to reach that level that you're looking to reach, you need to actually sit down and have a really. So it's not necessarily saying that you are against change in and of itself, blanket statement. You are trying to be open to it, but again, you're looking in the wrong areas. You're trying to control things that you don't actually have control over, and you're not controlling the things you do have control over. And it's a little bit of that. You currently have some of your wires crossed there.
Yeah, you're focusing in the wrong area.
Yes.
It's going to require just a little bit of time, maybe for you to kind of like, stop, slow down, and then really kind of see where, I think what it is that where you believe you need to have significant improvement may not necessarily agree with what your support network thinks.
Like what we just, okay, so in your how do you uncross them, again, it's a little of like what we were just saying to Chelsea. Literally sit down and go, what do I have control over and what do I not? Because like in Chelsea's situation, the business that she worked at, the school that she worked at, shut down and didn't pay her for the last 4 months that she taught there. That is not in her control. What is in her control now is that now that they have filed for Chapter 11, she can now make a filing to get that money paid to her. Do you see the difference? I'm hoping that made sense. Did that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
From a specific purpose, but the idea is that, yeah, I think in this case the Knight of Fire is more of a difference, like a change of perspective. Also, the fact is that fire is more of that aggressive knight as opposed to a more passive knight. So the Fire Knight wants to get stuff done, and therefore, since it came in your direction, and also not reverse, it's basically saying is that you really do have all the control in this. But it's also saying that maybe you ought to think about changing the perspective of where you believe that you think you should be putting your energy into.
Because yeah, it's definitely, you seem to be coming from.
Is Terror Destroyer a troll?
I don't. They've been here before.
Mm.
But yeah, it's essentially you're looking in a bit of the wrong direction. Basically, focus on what you do for yourself day in, day out. What are the things that you do that you control that are decisions within your sphere of making? That's going to be the biggest help. Oh yes, Chelsea. That's a very good way of putting it. Many things you can't take action to stop, just reaction to try and recover or improve the situation. Yeah, that is a very good way of putting it. So right now, I think one of the biggest things you can do for yourself is, one, be kinder to yourself. 2, really sit down and sort of just be like, what's it within my control and what isn't? And then move forward with what you can actually control. Has that been your biggest downfall? Where did you put me, Deck Lord?
Oh, you want to do a clarifier?
Yeah, well, as she has to follow up of, has that been her biggest downfall, controlling things other than herself?
The club.
Yeah, bit.
The one singular sensation.
Well, actually, you know what that made me think of? What that actually drew to mind for me?
One club? What's that?
Whack-a-mole. Except
no, actually, I can see that. Yeah,
she's been trying to whack the wrong moles.
Exactly. So the Ace of Wands again, fire again. Ugh. I like that whack-a-mole.
That is what it made me think of. That you've just you've been attempting to whack the wrong moles, and you would be saving yourself much more energy if you simply put it down.
Or the fact, if you see how in that picture the one wand also has flowers or like little tiny branches and colorful leaves growing off of it. Mm-hmm. It's also the reminder of like, don't lose the appreciation of the small stuff.
I also think Haley just had a light bulb moment go off. You have been choosing the wrong fights. Ding, ding.
Yes.
Yes, you have, but it's okay because again, nothing we're saying is set in judgment. Sometimes the wrong fights look like the right fights.
Mm-hmm.
They can be very alluring in that way.
That they can.
So no judgment on our ends, but yeah, if you want to know what you can do to make that better for yourself, that right there is going to be a big help.
Absolutely.
And then let me Elijah put their
Elijah
thing
is
down.
next.
Yep, and they put their thing down. I just have to scroll back up to it.
Yes.
A general reading, 17, and any deck. So why don't we do one of the dragons?
All right. I think my dragons were used last, so we will use yours this time.
Okie dokie.
You said 17?
Yes. And they are a Gemini.
Oh, I see we had another troll.
Yep, I got it.
Thomas the troll was like, that's like Thomas the train.
Thomas the Tank Engine, but yes.
Thomas the whatever.
Put them actually on the camera, and then I will flip.
Give me more time.
One.
Singular
One.
sensation. All right, try it now.
There you are.
All right, so just a general reading. We have the upside down Page of Cups, which also doubles as Pisces. We have, here we go again. We have number 4 of Fire, the Emperor, also known as Aries. And we have the Knigget of Cups. So we have that, once again, like the first reading we had tonight, that whole combination of fire with water. But this is, I think, is a little different than the last one. The fact of this one we have, unless Elijah, you happen to be a Pisces out there.
Gemini.
Oh, yes, Gemini. Thank you for that reminder. And the fact of the air doesn't show up here. We have the water and the fire perspective. We see the picture of the dragon coming out of the egg. The idea is that the new life, the rebirth, etc., starting brand new. And the idea is that
it's a progression that gets a little wibbly for me in the middle, but we save it at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful morning. Ooh, ah, ooh. You know, you're starting off with good intentions. Of course, what's the phrase? The best intentions pave the road to hell.
Yep.
Sometimes. And the idea is that, okay, a little bit of narcissism actually is a good thing, and too much of it is not. And that's where the whole point of the Emperor comes in, because the whole point of the Aries, the very strong male energy, if you're familiar at all with Aries, now I'll grant you it's a stereotype, but the first sign, the supposedly most powerful of the 12 zodiacs, you know, strong leader, incredibly powerful, independent. Also, that's the plus side. The arrogant side, and more the negative.
Excuse me,
the narcissistic side, and you're not quite sure because absolute power corrupts absolutely. And so the thing is, the way this Emperor dragon is drawn here is that you actually are not quite sure as you look at him kind of sitting there on that throne, is actually what's going on in his head. Is he going to be, quote, a good king or a bad king? You're not sure, because again, it kind of like shows that I don't think you are either at this point. It shows that with this newfound aspect, you're like going, it gives you an incredible amount of ego boost, which is, by the way, that's a good thing. We love that. But then it's like, okay, then you kind of like hit that pinnacle, that precipice, and now maybe you're a little bit full of yourself. And before you get to the last card, it's like going, a little bit of a reality check needs to come through here.
Oh, see, I'm getting slightly different vibes, but I'm letting you get through yours first.
I was going to say then you can definitely go over top of me if you will. But the thing is, and then the Knight of Cups, the Knight represents the change, and the idea is that coming off you the high horse a little bit, going back to essentially the essence of what you truly are, which is more emotion based than more power based. And the knight here essentially has all the possible weapons a knight needs. You got multiple swords, multiple shields. You also have a chalice up there for actual an offering of peace. If you want to play the, the idea of being a peacemaker, and then it becomes your choice as to what role you want to fill. And maybe that's the whole point, is the fact that you actually kind of like realize that, no, it's not all about offense. Sometimes you actually have to play some defense too, and get that more well-rounded perspective. And you were going to say something else then?
Well,
since we're getting a different vibe on this stuff, which is perfectly fine.
Well, so for me, it's not entirely reading as this is entirely a progression with just a singular entity here. For me, when the Emperor comes up, 9 times out of 10, it is a domineering presence in that person's life. Whether it be a boss, a parent, a spouse,
Mm-hmm.
So this is almost reading to me like we've gotten away from whatever domineering presence that was. And it could be you learning how to get over your own arrogance, but the way that the knight is healing, especially in the position at the end there, suggests to me that we didn't have as much control over this domineering presence in our life, but now we do, and we've gotten away from it. Good for us.
I mean, either way, I do like the progression of it going that way. I mean, the Knight of Cups is really a very pleasant card to get.
It is. I love the Knight of Cups.
Yeah, as long as essentially you're not just kind of going, "What the fuck am I doing?" Because I mean, every now and then that's what that knight does. Because sometimes it really refers to that person who has all those stuff there, and basically, but it's essentially is the all dressed up with no place to go. Doesn't really know what they want to use any of that stuff for. Can't make up their minds. I don't see that in this specific case, though.
They're saying it sounded a little more correct with my domineering person. So if you've managed to get away from a domineering person that was not doing you any favors, congrats.
Absolutely.
Getting away from domineering toxic people is always what is best for us.
Getting to know you, getting to know all about you.
Switch back. Who's next? It is Patricia.
It is Patricia, and you're going to have to kind of like go back.
I will scroll back, but it is okay. I can do that.
We used your deck on this one, correct? I want to make sure I don't.
Oh. Yep. I think.
Well, there's one way of finding out real quick.
Count them real fast.
If I can find any of these cards in here, in this other deck, because I think these are yours. Yep, there's the Emperor. So these are definitely.
Patricia would like number 56 and a card reading on a house move. Would like to move soon.
Okay, and I presume she says any deck.
Didn't actually specify, but I don't think we're going to use the sex deck.
Oh God, no. The question was, do you want to use the dragons or you want to use the? Somehow, I mean, I'm kind of sensing we should use the Dark Shadows deck on this one.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing.
Okay, we will do that. What's the number?
56.
56. So Yammer, will I count to 56?
Yammer, 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 yammer. No, not like that.
No, do a commercial or something.
Well, so you will be able to see Darth Sidious here, or Darth Dragon, when he actually has the rest of his look together. You'll be able to see him Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday for this weekend for the entire month of October. So if you want to go to Salem and see my father in person, now's the time. But if you do so, we do highly recommend signing up in advance.
Yes.
Just showing up in the store and hoping that they will have time for you is a great way for them to not have time for you.
The store is Omen.
The store is Omen.
Omen. It is on Church Street next to the mall.
Actually, it's part of the mall. I should say that.
It's technically part of the mall.
Technically in downtown Salem.
And also, if you're looking for food, I personally very much enjoy the New England Soup Factory that they have there.
Yeah, that is a very good. That's a really good spot.
I am hoping that we're gonna get there early enough that I could get some soup to take home after. Because I looked up their hours; they close at 7. I will be doing my bachelorette party until.
So
at
this
least
is for a house
7:30.
move, correct?
House move, yes.
All right.
You may switch the camera view.
We'll put this a little better here. So we've got the drunk Knight of Cups. I'm sorry, Page of Cups. I love that because he just looks like absolutely sloshed.
I was going to say he's not on the horse.
Nope. We have the upside down 5 of Wands, and turn it over so we can, of course, not doesn't look much difference, right? So I'll tell you the truth. And the upside down
Is nobody
Queen of Cups.
happy about this move? And that just might be me reading too much into it, but it seems that, I understand that moves happen a lot of the time out of necessity, but it doesn't seem that anybody is particularly
happy.
thrilled.
By the way, 2 more signs, Pisces and Scorpio. So I don't know if either of those make any sense to you, Patricia.
Patricia hasn't commented a bit, but if you are still here, do please let us know.
Yes, because we are now reading you. Hopefully you have hung around for this reading. Oh, okay, never mind. You got Joy.
Yep, I got it.
God, we love trolls.
There have
I
been many this
say
evening.
that very sarcastically.
But yeah, so you got
Oh, wait, they want me to inbox them. Okay.
go for it.
I was going to say, you're going to ask them to send their cut off their hand and mail it to you, as you did once before with someone who wants to do the palm reading.
There are definitely some questions that I would have for Patricia to make this more accurate.
Are you still there, Patricia, by the way?
But without being able to ask those questions if Patricia is not there. This is not looking very auspicious in terms of mental and emotional happiness. Maybe this is something that it is going to be very excellent for y'all financially.
Yeah,
But
definitely it's
mentally and emotionally.
Mentally and emotionally
Not so much.
does not seem so much. Actually, it's going to be a real pain in the neck, and to the point where it's almost with that middle card there, like because 5 is for reevaluation. It's just like, are you even?
You shouldn't be reevaluating in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. So
You should have done this evaluation in the before. Just saying.
Charlie's asking us, how are we? Is that Charlie or Chaley?
Don't know, but we're fine.
We are fine. Thank you for asking.
I don't think Patricia is still there too.
Patricia, are you still there?
I don't think they're still there.
All right. Well, we can move on to Nancy. We have Nancy and Mary, since they asked for readings as well. Are either Nancy and Mary still there?
Well, I know.
Actually, Nancy's there because she
Yes.
just made a comment on the troll. So Nancy, you are up next, and then Mary, you are after.
Nancy said.
Oh, did Nancy already put the?
I do believe so. Let me just scroll up here. Whee!
And yes, Charlie, you may have one, since our last one kind of got punted rather fast.
Deck our choice, number 56, rest of 2023. People like 56.
Oh,
tonight.
Patricia just came back.
Oh, okay. Hi, Patricia.
Here we are to actually. Hopefully, you heard all that, Patricia.
I'm hoping, y'all. We do ask like patience and checking it, but it's one of those things where if you do sign up for a spot, and you give us a thing, when we start actually asking you questions, responses help.
The cards are still up. If you want to flip the card thing back real quick here.
Okay.
Because the idea is that we both basically said the same thing, is that physically the move may go fine, but it sounds like no one seems to be emotionally into this at all. And the middle card there, number 5 for reevaluation, is the fact of do you really want to do this?
Because it doesn't actually seem like you do.
No, emotionally it seems like no one's. We have the drunk valet here, and the upside down queen was over here because I turned her right up, and it gives both of us kind of a all right, if we gotta, but ew, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm. So if you wanna tell us whether or not that's accurate, that would be helpful. Like
Yeah,
otherwise, we really can't tell you anything else.
did you really want to make this move? Or like I said, also doubles as zodiacs. This one's Pisces and this one's Scorpio. So maybe that has more relevance than what we're thinking.
Maybe, but I unless Patricia is going to give us any added context, I don't think so.
Well, she says Pisces is ascendant and Scorpio is the moon, but Virgo is her sun.
Yeah.
So,
and again, that doesn't really help in terms of a moving house question.
yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking as well.
So Patricia, do you actually want to do this move? I'm gonna give you about just a little bit more time here before we move on, because genuinely, unless we can get a little bit more of a dialogue going, there's not much else we can read.
Do 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 do.
Okay. All right. So Patricia, if you heard it from the start, then you heard us asking questions. So if you could please answer. And if you don't want to answer, then we're simply going to move on.
Do you hear the beep beep beep?
Yep. And
that's that's the humidifier in the basement saying we're full. Okay, let's move on.
Yep, let's move on. Sorry, Patricia.
Okay, so we're back to Nancy. What was
rest of 2023. Dragon 56.
All right, let me just shuffle this up real quick here, and we will pull my dragon deck out. All right, so with Nancy,
Kate, unfortunately, we are full up for tonight, but we can put you on the list for November if you would like us to.
So we have, we're about to start with Nancy, and then we have Mary, and then we have Chally, and unless I know Chally is right here because just made a comment. So unless Mary has
no, Mary has also sounded off that they are still here.
Then very good. I'm sorry, you said 56, correct?
I did. Okay, Kate, we will put you on the list for November.
Let me do that right now before I forget. November, Kate Wilcox, correct?
Yep, that is correct.
Got it. All right. No, do. There is a real theme tonight.
Everyone's on fire.
Katniss Everdeen is about to make another appearance.
Go for Nancy.
But she had just a general thing here. Very well. Go ahead and make the flip.
Yep. What the end of 2023 is going to look like.
Fire.
How are we going to finish it out?
Upside down fire.
Burnout.
So the idea is 4. The Sun, the most powerful fire card in the bloody deck, and the Knigget again. Definitely a theme. Upside down fire. What is it? What do they say? The candle that burns twice as bright lasts half as long.
And I don't even think she's burning from both ends. I think she's burning from several different ends.
Yeah, and especially with the sun in the middle there, it's like going, wow. You're going to hit the end of the year and kind of go, I cannot keep up this tempo.
You're essentially, you're going to feel how I felt at the end of the fair season this year, which was like I was dragging myself to the finish line.
No, you didn't feel that at all. You were so perky.
Full of energy I was. Oh,
As we were breaking down in the rain for the last event we were doing.
Oh my God.
Well, you know what? It could have been worse. We could have stayed and done the final weekend when it friggin' poured.
Yes. Yeah.
Did you hear the story what happened at Connecticut Fair last weekend?
No. You can tell me after.
Yeah. That's another little fun thing, a fair that we used to do up until this last year. So the 4, ending of the phase, the 19, the transition number, 19 turning into 10, turning into 1, and the night, which just means change on its own accord. So I'll give you this. You're going good. You're going gangbusters. You're confident. I get all of that. And the fact is that unless you've actually going to get a chance to actually draw some significant energy from somebody else to help you, you are looking for a major crash, because this is just not sustainable in the long term. So if you have a crap ton of stuff that you need to get done in the next couple of months, then I would say good for you. I actually do see the agenda actually being finished. I actually do see you completing the tasks there. But there's going to be a price tag. I think New Year's comes and you go into January and you're just like, what have I done?
But also, I will say, I don't think you're going into that completely blind. You're smart. And we've read you a bunch before, and you and I know each other reasonably well. You're a smart cookie. You know how much energy you're giving. And you also know that things fall apart. The center does not hold. But I think you're also sort of spinning your wheels to actually figure out an alternative. And I totally understand that struggle. That's a very valid struggle.
And Nancy says that she is tired.
She feels we are all
tired.
tired.
We are all tired.
And
well,
yet, I don't disagree with you on that.
No, I mean, so many of us are burning the candles on both ends because, well, partially we have to. Red was just talking about the fact is that, for her, fair season is over. It is for me too. But while she only has smaller events, a few parties here and there, I have got my every weekend for the rest of this month solidly booked up, and I basically am just preparing myself for the energy I'm going to basically be blowing.
Well, I mean,
just to kind of get through it.
Well, I mean, I do have parties every weekend this month as well, except for one, and then the one that I'm not working a party, I'm hosting a party.
Oh, that's next weekend?
Yep. So it's one of those things where
so your agenda is pretty full too.
So I'm trying to make sure that on the weekdays where I have nothing, we do nothing.
And me, I just go to do my regular job. Yay me!
Yeah, you're burning your candle at many different ends there too, pal.
Well, this is one of those things where this is the 8th year I've done this now at Salem, so I kind of like prepare myself for. I have all this extra energy stock just built in there. Just
your deck or my deck?
It's mine.
Okay. Pull another card for Nancy. Any sign as to where I might get that burst of sun energy? You don't get breaks at work, and I still think that is a cry and shame.
Oh, I didn't tell you that. I got to tell you another little story. Salem has changed their rules a little bit.
Oh, good.
A little bit.
But anyway, I pulled another card for you for that question.
An air card. At least it's compatible.
When do you get that burst of sunshine? When you stop standing in your own way on that front.
Because if you turn the dragon around, he's wearing a blindfold. Which, with this camera, maybe you can't see very well, but we know that is the blindfolded dragon who cannot go through his metaphorical door frame there because he literally can't see it.
Doesn't know it's there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there are many things that could potentially be a benefit for you that you don't necessarily see. And I'm not knocking you for not seeing. You have a lot going on. Things fall through the cracks. But
the center does not hold. Things fall apart.
Yeah. But in terms of where you get that energy,
well,
you have to make major change.
Here's where you get the energy. Remember, the thing is, this is Dragon Tarot. This is actually a form of a clock, by the way. The dragon body forms the clock, but the face of the clock is a lion's face. It refers back to this card actually represents a duality. There is more than one physical entity in there. You may be the dragon, but you actually are drawing some strength from a, quote, lion.
Which is, support other people, things like that. And it's one of those things where you don't have a support system that is beneficial to you in the ways that you most majorly need. So you now have to basically use extra energy to figure out how to still get things done and those needs met. Because you can't do everything. You are one person. You are one human. You can't do your whole life all by yourself. So if you want that energy, you got to make some serious changes by taking that blindfold off and commit to those serious changes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the hard part.
Because we don't like to admit that when we're doing things which actually go against us.
Well, I think she's fully ready to admit that. I think she's having a similar issue to some of the other people we've read tonight, where not all of these things are within her control.
Again, another theme.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So you now really sort of got to make changes where you can, and the things that you do. Yes, shadow work continues. Abso-fucking-lutely. But please don't blame yourself for the things that you wouldn't be able to do by yourself anyways. Anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think we pretty much covered it.
And Mary is here, and
Mary, do you want a specific deck, by the way?
The question: do you see me in a relationship in the near future?
Yeah, does she want us to use the actual love deck for that, or the dragons? Because the dragons are good for anything, because it's an all-purpose deck.
And Nancy, you can lean on me and Matt as much as we can be helpful. We like to try to be.
Lean on me when you're not strong.
Mary would like the love deck.
All righty. First time tonight.
Woo! No, it's not.
Oh, you're right. I'm kind of going. Yeah, that was like the very first one that we did, but then we haven't used it since.
Almost closing it out.
And now we have this and Charlie and I'm.
Bless you.
Oh!
Bless you, you Sith Lord.
The dark force didn't prevent me from sneezing.
No.
I may have just done a little bit of that if I wasn't careful.
We still got to see the last episode of Ahsoka.
Oh, you haven't seen that?
Well, we've seen the last episode came out this week. So we're, except for the last episode, we are caught up.
Well, this will be a little easier. The fact of none of the cards are upside down.
Oh, well, isn't that ducky? So, she's a Gemini, and do we see her in a relationship in the near future? Let us
flip it. Whoops, didn't quite.
Well, that's a really easy answer for me.
8 of Earth, the Knave of Chalices, otherwise known as Pisces, and the 6 of Pentacles. So, Earth and Water, the female energy elements. Do we see you in a relationship in the future? I should, by the way, I should say before we say the next thing is that in the near future, these cards basically are purposely drawn heterosexually because they're about actual energy, male and female energy, not actual physical gender. So the idea is that you could be the guy here, and you're definitely the guy here, and you're probably the girl over here too. So the thing is, it can really flip flop back and forth, so to speak, here.
For me, this is a very easy answer.
I see it too, but I'm going to let you basically say your part, and I'll say mine.
Fine. For me to be the not flowery part, in the near future, no. You have a lot of individual work to do before you get into a healthy relationship.
Yes.
We're not settling for unhealthy relationships here. So.
That's the whole point, is the fact that, I mean, if you want to get in a relationship just to have a relationship, and by the way, free will, do as you will. You know, I mean, the cards are only projecting stuff. They're not predicting anything.
Although, as we have said in a previous reading tonight, we do not recommend getting into a relationship for relationship's sake.
Yeah, but obviously we're not going to stop you if you want to go down that path, because after all, it's your path if you want to take that. The first card here is, you basically, by looking at the picture, it doesn't look so great. You know, the guy's offering the lady a rose, and you know,
she's so disinterested.
She's just so incredibly disinterested. You know, you'd like to try something, and you know, and maybe, you know, hey, have a nice little physical hookup. Sure, a little emotional stuff to go behind that. That lady there is not interested in that. And so the last two cards basically are different variations of the same thing, and the fact of one male, one female. But the thing is, they are solitary figures in the cards for a reason. We have the combination of the frustrated poet, who's basically trying to write that perfect sonnet to mirror Shakespeare, and getting very, very frustrated because he can't get the words perfectly just right.
They're two sides of the same coin to me, because you have they're two individual people figuring out what they individually need in a relationship, but also what they individually bring to a relationship.
Correct.
One of them is solving it slightly more healthily than the other, but again, we all have healthy and non-healthy coping mechanisms.
Exactly. Because I refer to this sometimes as the Adam and Eve without Adam, and she's basically eating the apples by herself. Well, Adam's kind of like, you know, at the door going, hey, can I come in and join you? And she's kind of like, later. Right now, I need a little bit of time to myself, and just kind of I want to enjoy some of the fruits of this labor on my own, and that's perfectly fine, by the way, because again, it shows both the male and female energy points of view. Is that, yeah? I mean, if you really want to be with somebody, and you want to be in a real solid, really positive relationship, it can be very, very frustrating because just because you want something doesn't mean you're going to get it.
Yeah, no, and to be clear, we are not judging the frustration.
Absolutely not.
Because I'm also going to say to you what I said to our first love reading of the evening, especially after I see your comment, 64 widow after 37 years of marriage. Do you even know what you want? Do you even know what you bring? And for both of you, my money is on no, because, well, in generations past, you weren't required to be a person to be in a relationship, nor were you required to be a person to get married. So you didn't actually have to figure out what were your good qualities and what were your bad qualities, and what were things you should change, what were things you should keep, what are things that you like, what are things that you don't like. Y'all really didn't have to sit down and figure that stuff out, because honestly, it was a very different agenda back in the day. And now that we live in a world where marriage is not life or death as often for women, and you know, we're allowed to have bank accounts and things now without our husbands.
I miss the good old days.
It changes completely how we then go back out into the dating world, because you can no longer use the old fallbacks. Now you actually have to sell yourself as who you are. And you don't know who you are. You're agreeing with me in the comments, I see.
Yeah, exactly. So the idea is that before you actually go out and try an actual relationship that you actually want to have hopes that's going to be anything of any value, you got to do some personal work first. You know, you have to essentially...
it's okay to have that angry, frustrated part inside of you. Absolutely.
Yeah. Especially because maybe you're not totally finished grieving over your spouse that's passed on. You know, and that's okay too. You know, it's there again, as we told the other person, it's like there's no clock here.
No.
There's no schedule. You know, I mean, obviously you don't want to wait 50 years, because after all, then you'll be over 100, assuming you're even still alive at that point. But the idea is that if it doesn't happen by next week, next month, next year, it's okay.
Right, and I understand that. And, you know, I'm going to be very broad and sweeping in my generalizations here, but a lot of people in the boomer generations and generations before that literally don't know how to exist as themselves, because they don't know who they are. And Yeah. And it's just dating at your age is selling you and you don't know you. So what I would recommend is what I recommended to the first person, which if you are not super afraid of being seen to be out in public alone, take yourself out on dates. Honestly, I did that. I've been doing that for, I don't know, I started doing it right before the pandemic happened. Basically, I decided that if I couldn't find someone to go out with me to do whatever particular activity I wanted to do, I was no longer going to let that stop me from doing the activity that I wanted. So you know what? If I can't find anybody to go to a movie with me, I'll still go see the movie. I'll see it myself.
Yeah, but you're like me. The thing is, when I got out of college in my 20s, I mean, my first 5 years essentially out of school, living completely by myself. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I got very, very used to being self-sufficient.
You and I are more rare in that regard.
Well, the thing is, I did the same thing. The thing is, if I really wanted to do something, like I wanted to go to a museum or go see a concert or go to a movie, and I couldn't find anyone to go to, I would go myself.
I'll still go.
And I did just that. I did a lot of La Turista things alone. And I'm very glad that I did,
And it's very funny to me. I don't know if you've had the experience that I've had, but people have looked at me funny when I'm like, people will look sad for me if they see me in a restaurant by myself. But like, if I'm going to a restaurant that I wanted to try by myself, it's usually because I really wanted to try whatever the cuisine was. And I'm still here happy putting the food in my face. Sometimes I'll bring a book.
I think I think the one time that I got the one time I really actually noticed I actually was getting looks was when I went to a concert by myself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a solitary. It was a part music, part stand-up comedian. Someone I actually wanted to see. I couldn't find anyone who wanted to go with me, so I said screw it. I went and got a ticket, and the place was packed, and there I am in my spot all by myself. And I go, everybody else has got dates or with groups or whatever. Nope. But hey,
and you still had a good time.
I still very much enjoyed the show, and that was the important thing.
And yeah, and Mary's agreeing with us that Mary, genuinely date yourself. Go in with no expectations. Just see what you like. If you're driving past a new restaurant in town and think to yourself, "Oh, I really want to check that out," do it.
Yeah, the thing is, don't miss that movie that looks really great on the commercials just because you got no one to go with.
Mm-hmm. I'm a little late to the program, but I finally saw Barbie in theaters. That was really nice.
Still haven't seen Barbie. I should definitely.
That was fun. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, take yourself out. Get to know yourself, and that way, when you actually know what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, no one can pull the wool over your eyes.
You think you're funny?
Yes, I do. I do, in fact, think I am funny.
I will be the voice you have heard in your head. Every voice you have heard is mine.
That's truly frightening. All right.
Anyway.
Charlie, if you are still here, we're closing out with you.
Yep, you are the finale. So.
And if not, then we're closing it out here. But we will.
But I know they've been there because they've made comments before.
Just making sure that they're still actually.
Young fool.
Okay.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
You may cease playing with my robes.
Can't see what I'm doing right now.
You would also like to have a love reading. Awesome. We can use our love deck for you. Please give us a number between 1 and 78.
And ask a question.
If there is a specific love question you would like to ask, please do so.
Beware that you will be read from the dark side of the deck.
And Annie and MK and anybody else in the comments that are currently asking, this is actually our last reading for the evening. If you are interested, we can put you on our list for November.
Who wants to go on for November?
So far, just Kate. But
Yep,
there
I
are
got
a couple.
Kate there,
But
so-
there are a couple people in the comments. Possible. And then Shelley, is there a possibility of me finding a relationship by the end of the year?
Okay.
Let's
and
find
then,
out.
And then we need a number still.
Oh yes, number between
1
and
and 78. That way I know
please.
what the starting point of the deck will be.
Oh, I like that. A Capricorn just blended my heart up for a nice little snack. That's a fun artistic way of putting it. 7, they say.
The Capricorn just blended my heart for a nice little interesting. Okay.
Hey man, Capricorns can be ruthless sometimes. MK, we will put you on the list for November.
Was this just MK?
Yes, that's their YouTube.
Okay, got it. So for those of you who are going on next month, MK, Kate, don't forget to show up. Or we will have to give away your spots to other people, which happens like virtually every time we do this.
And Annie also here. I will
Oh,
write
go ahead and write Annie on there. I will. I did shuffle this friggin' deck.
Did you?
You did watch me. Did you not? Did you?
I did watch you. Oh, but we're having him again.
We're having a couple of them again, only from a different perspective.
Well, put the cards actually on camera, and
Yes.
then I will flip.
Yes, these are all upside down as opposed to the last one where they were all right side up.
Shaylee, which dragon? Are you talking about this dragon? Or that dragon? Or this dragon? Or any of the dragon? Or that dragon? That dragon? That dragon? That dragon?
Or
There's
this dragon.
There's many dragons.
There's lots of dragons.
The couch actually is a blanket. It's the Welsh flag, which the Welsh flag is a dragon.
Because I have news for you. I am a dragon. That's why I go into Salem in my dragon outfit and then put the Sith robe on, because I am Darth Dragon.
No, well,
From
as Gabby says, so many Dargans.
Dargans.
That's what she wrote. So many Dargans.
Well, yes, the whole point of our business tag, Lord Fafnir and Spawn. Fafnir's a dragon name, and I was chosen for a specific reason, because one of the reasons that we basically use the dragon deck so often is the fact of is that it is my personal favorite deck, and Red's as well. We are both dragon energy. I am the dragon, and she is the daughter of a dragon.
That is very true. But yes,
Anyway,
look at your
So
love
let's get
reading.
the card all upside down. We have the upside down 8 of swords. We have the upside down 6 of earth, and the upside down Knave of Chalice is the Pisces card again, which I think
you're
is
like a little bit of the opposite of Mary, that where you're doing Mary's doing her anger first, you're doing your anger secondary.
yeah.
Which, hey, I'm not saying either way is a better or worse way to do it. You guys are just taking slightly different approaches. And there are Pisces.
That actually helps a little bit. I mean, but the idea really, all right. This deck obviously sometimes has a one up being a little bit physical. Hence the point of the first card there. So I mean, basically, you said you asked the question of, is there a relationship coming up in the relative future? That's correct, right?
Mm-hmm.
Between now
basically, if you'll be in one by the end of the year.
Under the end of the year. All right. Let me put it this way. You'll be having sex before the end of the year.
Yeah.
You're going to have a very interesting and probably very, very nice physical encounter with someone. That's the first card. And you may not be actually thinking of that right now. Maybe you're not really interested in just the physical aspect of things. But guess what? That's what shows up. And upside down, because maybe it's a bit of a surprise. Maybe you get kind of like taken away because this person just like sweeps you off your feet or just knows exactly what, quote, turns you on. And I'm not going to belabor that point. But the idea is that, is someone going to show up there? Yes. The question becomes is that what happens afterwards? Because those last two cards are the same last two cards, albeit in different order. of the ones we just did in the last reading. And again, the other difference that these were both upside down versus the other one, they were right side up. But again, it shows that whole different perspective of the male and female energy. The female showing the independence, the male energy being rather frustrated. And so it's...
And also, I'm just going to throw this up for a sec. You don't get and I don't get angry any longer. It's a waste of my energy. That's a very cute little lie you're telling yourself. We all get angry. We're human. You may think that you're not getting angry about that particular person anymore, but you have a lot of anger and resentment towards your love life in general.
Maybe it doesn't show much on the outside, but there's still a lot of it on the inside.
Mm-hmm. And you may sort of have convinced yourself that you're not getting angry about it anymore, but it's one of those things where, I mean, yes, this is my opinion. That's the whole thing about readings. Fun times. And it's just one of those things where I think you're frustrated with sort of just lack of longevity in most things, angry more just about the trend of things rather than people in particular.
I mean, what I'm getting from this is obviously the first card, physical thing. We talked about that. The other two essentially is you dealing with this.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if you already are a very independent person, hey, fan-flippin-tastic, because that is, I would much rather have a person be independent than dependent, because dependency leads to codependency in a relationship, and that's not very, very good. So the independent part of you isn't the issue. The question from my point of view to ask you, and if you want to answer this, feel free. If you don't, that's okay too. Is more to the point is what's your end game? You know, are you looking for somebody who actually really excuse me, are you really, really looking for that tight emotional connection that where the physical part is just a nice thing to add to it, as opposed to being, you know, the primary aspect? You know, I know a lot of people, a lot of relationships which have done very, very well, where it started physically first and then evolved much more emotionally as they went further on. Nothing wrong with that. And if that's the direction that you seem to be going in this direction, because that's what the cards are suggesting, again, nothing's wrong with that at all. The whole idea is the fact of with this last one being a little bit of that male energy frustration, which you actually possess, is that what do you actually know what your end game is?
Yeah, so, and it's one of those things where you're not angry, you're sad, you're lonely, you're disappointed, you're bored. That is literally like so many people can manifest that through the last card. And if your end game is to find a best friend, then why are you so worried about getting into a relationship by the end of the year? Why don't you just meet people and let things happen organically? If you actually want a best friend, why don't you go looking for a best friend?
As opposed to a best lover friend?
Exactly.
I mean, I'll grant you, from my point of view, you know, a friend can be nothing more than plutonic. And yes, it can turn sexual if you so choose, but most people's friends are on the plutonic end. At least of the people that I know.
Yep. And it's one of those things where everyone's always like, oh, I married my best friend. Yes and no. You know, on some levels you did, on some levels you didn't. Because if you did that, you wouldn't have a best friend outside of your relationship, now would you? But I digress.
Well, also the fact of, for a lot of people, not everyone, but for a lot of people, sex changes things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they don't, you know, some people, you know, can have that, essentially have the hookup, which is also a very, very close friend of theirs, and have it be perfectly, fine. A lot of people can't handle that.
Mm-hmm.
So more to the point of view is that it could very well be, since this card suggesting a sexual turn in the beginning part, it could be that maybe your goal, your end game, is to have that best friend who can also be that physical lover when the two of you are in the desire for that.
But if you're
maybe the other person's ultimate their end game is different from yours.
And also, if you are genuinely looking for a best friend, don't start it in the physical. That's never going to work. You need you need to build the emotional intimacy before you add physical intimacy, because physical intimacy too early ruins everything. But most people in our Western society don't actually understand how emotional intimacy works. And they just think that sex is intimacy and that's it.
Well, you can actually show intimacy through sex, emotional intimacy through sex. But is it the be all and end all? Hell no.
No, I'm saying why would you date someone who you didn't consider to be a friend? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying start with friend, maybe grow into lovers, but don't try to start as lovers and then become friends. That doesn't work.
Oh, why wouldn't I date someone who didn't consider to be a friend? Oh, obviously she's never been on a blind date before.
Well, also
I have been on quite a few of those over the years, and frankly, most of them were terrible.
And also, have you missed like the last 200 some, like, Western marriage has never been about being with somebody that you consider a friend, ever. That's never been a part of it. When I love when people are like, I'm into traditional marriage. I'm like, yeah, how many goats did you get for your wife? Like, fucking hell.
Oh, you're thinking back when marriage was actually a business arrangement and nothing more.
Well, when people say traditional marriage, I'm like, you mean feudalism, right? But yeah.
I didn't get a goat for either of my wives. What the fuck?
Well, you're not practicing feudalism.
I was going to say,
That's your fault.
I didn't get any dowries either. Wow, I should go back and reclaim what should have been given to me.
Yes, Dad.
I can do that. I can reclaim, because after all, I have the power of the dark side.
Stop it, asshole.
All right.
Alrighty, well, thank you guys for being with us on this October session. We'll be back again next month at some point. I'm not going to say exactly when. Probably closer to Thanksgiving, in all honesty. Probably the back half of November. So
We'll be far less busy than we are now.
yes, that is definitely true. Because I don't know about you. I'm going to definitely need the time to get my brain cells back after I'm done with Halloween and Salem.
Yes, for sure.
So thank you again, everyone. Because after all, if you guys weren't here watching us, we wouldn't be doing this anymore either.
That's very true.
But yeah, we started this during COVID, so it's been 3.5 years now, and we keep coming back because you guys want us to, and we are more than happy to do this. And if you want to drop us some money because you like what we gave you tonight, want to throw that up there real quick there?
Yeah, I will. Real quick here.
Tips are always appreciated.
They are. There it is.
You can basically do it through that PayPal me address.
PayPal.me/Fafnir
and Spawn.
And if you are interested in, hiring us for any events, please do so. If you want to hire us for Halloween parties, he's out for weekends, and do that like now. Like yesterday, like 6 months ago, actually.
Start booking for next year.
Yes, book your Halloween parties for next year.
I'm still getting
now.
I'm still getting requests for people who want to have a party like a week or two. Like going, boy, are you?
Yes, and I'm like, you're very adorable. So,
on that note,
merry meet,
merry
part,
part, and merry meet again.